Hi ladies, today we are going to talk about hair porosity, and with this video I'm just going to guide you on how to identify which hair porosity your hair has and how to maintain it. First of all, we start with what is high porosity, or what is porosity. Porosity is the hair's ability to absorb moisture into your hair shaft. So we start off, we've got three categories that fall under porosity. And first of all, it's high. High porosity, you'd find that the cuticles you have on your hair shaft, they are too open and they can be very damaged, meaning they've got holes and gaps. And with that, moisture is absorbed. A lot of moisture is absorbed, but again, moisture is lost. So your hair tends to not seal in moisture, and you find that it's been damaged by chemicals, and it's all tangled up, it's dull, and it's frizzy. So with that type of hair, it's recommended that you could use oils like castor oil, because it's very thick in consistency. So it will be able to be sealed into your hair strands, even though it has gaps, it has holes, but some oil will be kept in your hair shaft, and it will be sealed in, so that at least you will be able to have some kind of nutrients fed into your hair shaft. And what I love about castor oil again is that it's an natural antifungal or bacterial product. So if your scalp is very itchy, it's very damaged, then with castor oil you can base your hair with castor oil right through to your ends, and that way you can treat your scalp too. So with high porosity, please ladies, you need to deep condition your hair every week, because your hair loses a lot of oil. It needs a very high protein treatment, so treat it weekly. So it takes time for you to see any results, so you would find that at least it could take a month or two for you to see any results. So you need to moisture your hair. And then we come to medium porosity. Medium porosity, what I love about it, hair is healthy, so we don't have that much to say about it. All I could say is that the cuticles on your hair shaft, they're in between. They're not damaged, and they are not too closed. So moisture is absorbed nicely, and moisture is sealed right into your hair shaft nicely. So you don't have any problem when it comes to having any oils lost, or oils not sealed into your hair strands. And one thing that I love also about the medium hair is that it allows you to style your hair. Your hair, it can hold any style or any treatment, so you won't have any damaged hair. You won't have to experience that kind of hair porosity where your hair it's damaged. And when it comes to deep conditioning, please ladies, with this, do not overfeed your hair. You will damage it. It will become high porosity. So with this hair, please just give it normal treatment. What I would say to you is, when it comes to deep conditioning, you can deep condition maybe every 2 weeks or a month, because your hair is it's moist, and it does keep moisture, so you don't have to overfeed your hair. So that is your medium porosity. When we go to low porosity, what I love about low porosity, I know you ladies would say, what is to love about it? It's confusing. Yes, low porosity, it is very confusing, because what it does is the cuticles on your hair, they are closed. The fact that it is closed cuticles is very hard for your hair to be healthy, or for it to be fed or to be nourished, because products tend to sit on top of your hair shaft instead of being absorbed into your hair shaft and being sealed in. So that's one of the things that that can be very confusing, because a lot of people think that with this type of hair, your hair is healthy, where it's not, because they think it's always moist. With moist, you know that you end up having greasy hair. If you have greasy hair, then you know that it's low porosity. Then if you try to hydrate your hair and no water is absorbed into your hair quickly, then know that it's low porosity. And one of the other things that you can also identify low porosity is that your hair, it looks healthy, but it does not have any volume. There are people who you'd find that their hair is very nice, it's balanced, it's you could think that it's rich, but it doesn't have that volume that the hair needs. I'll give you a couple of examples or pictures just to show you what I mean when I talk about volume. And what also I don't like about this porosity is that no treatment can get through to your hair shaft or through your cuticles into your hair shaft, so that it's nourished. Even when you dye your hair, it doesn't hold on to the product. So this porosity, it's kind of like I would say it's dangerous, because you won't be able to get your hair nourished, and it could break, it could be damaged, it could get damaged. So what I could advise you to do is get oils that are very light, that are very liquid based, maybe an oil that is very, very thin. If I were to give you an example of an oil that is very thin, it shouldn't be thick. It should be very, very light, especially when you put oil onto your skin. You see how watery it is, and your skin gets dry very quick. So that kind of oil is the one that you need to use for a light porosity. But when we come to porosity, when we talk about oil that's very thick, you'd find that it doesn't even run quickly. It's very, 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 very thick. So you'd find that even when you run your fingers through it, you can feel the thick consistency. So that's how thick oil supposed to, how it's supposed to feel in your hands or through your fingers. Then you need to deep condition your hair weekly. And the other treatment that I could actually very recommend you is to hot oil treatments, which is what we're going to talk about in our next video. It's very important to heat your hair, because the fact that the pores of your hair are closed, they need to be heated up so that moisture can be absorbed into your hair strands or your hair shaft. So that's it with all the different kinds of porosity you find in your hair. Now, what you need to do in order for you to know which hair porosity you have, you need to have a hair test. Okay, ladies, basically how you do a hair test is you take one of your strands and then you put inside a glass of water or a bowl of water. When you look at the low porosity, you'll see that it floats, meaning your hair doesn't absorb any moisture. But if your hair does sink but not to the bottom, then it's medium, meaning it's absorbing the right amount of moisture. But when it comes to high porosity, then it will sink down to the bottom, meaning it absorbs a lot of moisture. So basically, ladies, that is how you do your hair test, and you'll see in that way it's easy for you to choose which products will be good for your hair. I hope that with this video I was able to give you an idea on what low porosity or medium or high porosity is, and how to differentiate between the three, and what characteristics does each have, and how to also treat each porosity. And I hope it also will be able to guide you when it comes to the products that you will need in order to grow your hair nice and healthy. So ladies, until my next video from me, and please do not forget to subscribe. So from me, it's a good night. Bye.